All right, it's 9 in the morning. It's really too early to be ranting about this, but this has been on my mind for this past week, and I find this conversation to be so incredibly frustrating. Concord, the game, the beta, is great. The game plays great. All of every single journalist I've seen actually discuss how the game plays says that they think it plays very well. It may not be their thing, but it plays well. Yet all of the framing around this game has been about, oh, is there a market for this game? Is it going to sell? It's $40. How about all these free-to-play shooters? It is maddening that people don't understand their power. Maybe the reason why people are not trying the game is because you are framing all of your discussions about this game around its marketability or your opinions on how it may not perform well. How about framing it around how does the game play? Nothing wrong with discussing, hey, is there a market for this game? Nothing wrong with having that conversation, but it's a beta. At least frame the initial discussion around how this game plays. Let me show you. So Skill Up is, for me, I think, in terms of gaming YouTubers, right up there. Maybe my favorite in terms of somebody who really gets in depth and tries to properly understand what a game is and is able to convey his experience in a way that no one else, I think, can match. Yet even he fell into this trap. This is the title of his video here. And as you can see, I watch pretty much all of his videos. You can tell by the red bar here. I watch everything. Concord feels overpriced and unready. In this video, he goes on to discuss how great this game plays. His issues with it are about the price and how it may not sell, in his opinion, because there are free-to-play options out there. And he has some issues with some of the underbaked issues around progression. So when it comes to character progression and unlockables, he has some criticisms there that I think are valid. But he thinks the game plays well. Yet the title of the video is Concord feels overpriced and unready. Which is like, this is your first impressions of a game. How about focusing on the game? Why are all of these, whether it's YouTubers, journalists, I would say, do this less because they understand, a preview. Their job is to discuss how the game plays generally. But YouTubers are, because this is an algorithm thing, right? So because right now there is there's the way the algorithm works. As somebody who, look, I have one of these YouTube plaques. I know how this shit works. There are ways to frame titles to get people to click on them in a way that they may not otherwise. A title saying Concord plays great may not do as well as Concord feels overpriced and unready. Negativity sells. It is so wild to me that this continues to be the focus of a game that isn't even out. It isn't out. Like, if you're going to talk about the failure of a game at launch and how no one's buying it, no one's playing it, maybe wait till the game is out. This is a beta. Talk about the beta. Talk about the play. How does it feel? It is maddening. And you go and search Concord. Here. This is just simple. I just simply searched Concord. That's it. Concord. So the first few, to be fair, it doesn't have many views, but YouTube is propping this video up. Concord review, the good, the bad, the ugly. The second video already, we're into it. Concord beta numbers aren't great so far. Like, it's so incredible. And this GameSpot video about each of the characters again doesn't perform as well. Interestingly enough, Luke Stevens here with "I Tried Concord." That's a good clickbaity title. What does he think of it? But so impressions, and then we get into, you're gonna see every single one now. Concord not worth $40. Angry impressions. Angry Joe show. He's still on that thing. I haven't watched this guy in, I don't know, years, but I guess he's still angry. This is one hell of an F up. And again, focusing on oh God, this guy is the absolute worst. Concord is the breaking point with dire player numbers already. We're already into it. How does the fucking thing play? Concord beta fails horribly. Again, focusing on the goddamn Steam numbers. Like, these fucking losers. Play the fucking game. Talk about the fucking game. It's unbelievable. The reason why I'm so frustrated about this is because for me, I want this game to succeed because I am enjoying the hell out of it. I stopped playing, so I was big into Overwatch. Overwatch 2 came out. I think going free to play for me personally was a big mistake just because of the way everything is just so nickel and dime now. It's just full of all that garbage. I enjoyed paying for Overwatch up front when it first came out was great. You pay for it, you have it. You aren't hit over the head with free to play garbage. That was a great experience for me. And the game back then when it first launched, I mean, it was a great game. And since then, there's been this hole where I want to play. I want to be able to jump into some kind of shooter where I can jump in, jump out, have a good time, not take it too seriously, but be able to jump in, have some fun, not mind if I lose. And Concord filled that gap perfectly, or Concord is filling that gap perfectly. But if it comes out and nobody buys it or nobody plays it because of all of these dumbasses online talking about, oh, it's not going to do well, not going to sell. Let people play the fucking game first. Let people form their own opinions. Talk about how every single video I've watched about this game, when they finally get to how it plays, they think it plays well. If you led with that, maybe more people would try it out. Now, this isn't to say there is no fault at all on the developers. I do think the biggest issue with this game is simply that the aesthetic does not stand out. The first cinematic trailer that launched or that announced the game when Sony first announced it, it was very obvious. This looks like Guardians of the Galaxy, but not. It's off-putting to see an aesthetic like this, and the writing that is just so. I am so sick of Marvel and all of those movies, and the quippy dialogue. I've been incredibly over that for a while. To see a game play into that, I don't think helps this game at all. I was thinking about this last night. If there was a completely different aesthetic, something like Kunitsugami that just came out. Obviously, it's a Japanese game, a little different, but that has a very unique style. It's its own thing. Concord very much appears like it is trying to be a little bit of Guardians, a little bit of Overwatch, maybe a little bit of Destiny in some ways. It doesn't really have its own identity. That, I think, is its biggest failure. But if you just get your hands on the damn game, when you're playing it, you don't care. It looks, graphically, it looks incredible. It's an Unreal Engine 5 game. It looks fantastic. I am not, like, Overwatch, for example. Does anyone really love the Overwatch aesthetic? Did anyone play Overwatch because, oh wow, I got to play this game because look at these characters, look at these designs? I played it because I heard it was fun to play, and I played it, and it was fun to play. Like that's what you want out of a shooter. If you're looking for deep story, unique characters or design, you're likely going to play, I don't know, a character action game or an RPG. You're not going to be looking at a hero shooter for that. Yet, for whatever reason, people want that out of a hero shooter. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So just play the damn game. And the aesthetics are there. They look good enough. They function. So it doesn't hamper the experience is my point. I'm not going to this game to check out, the newest cinematic. And unfortunately, I think there's going to be a lot of focus. It sounds like there will be a lot of focus from the developers on the story, the characters. They're planning to do a new cinematic every single week for Concord. As someone, again, who really enjoys the game, I guess I'll watch them if they're like a minute long. It's not a big time commitment. But is that what's going to draw me to log into the game? No. And I can't imagine many people are going to feel the same. People are going to jump into the game because they enjoy playing it. That should be the upfront discussion. And the biggest failure, again, that Sony had isn't just with launching with that cinematic, it's that it's focusing beginning to focus on Concord about the story and the characters as opposed to the gameplay.